Hey there, it's Nina with Walla Stamping at wallastamping.com. Thank you for joining me today. This is a project I'm going to be sharing with you. This is my third of my series of Gift Tag Tuesday. I've done Christmas in the past, and I promised you that throughout this series that I would break it up and do some other things outside of Christmas. And so today I'm going to bring you a birthday gift tag. I just think that it's really a special treat for the receiver of a gift to not only get a really thoughtful gift from you, but for you to take the time to hand make a card or the gift tag for the package. Now this is the one I'm actually going to show you how to make today. It is my favorite of the three because I think that it is so much fun with this little handmade pom-pom, and I like the color combination. I think it's very festive and bright and cheerful. So let me set everything aside. I'll show you how to make it. The first thing that I started with is a couple of pieces of the Whole Lot of Lovely Designer Series paper, and I will be putting these together in just a minute. And then I've got another piece of the striped pattern, and I'm using my Lots of Labels Framelits, and I'm using the third from the largest. And I've discovered after cutting this that this is just slightly wider than 2 inches. So for that reason, I've cut this at about 2 1/16 of an inch. And then I've also got a couple of pieces of crushed curry. This is going to be the matting behind here. This is cut to 2 1/16 of an inch by 2 1/4, and then this is 2 1/16 by 2. Then I just have a scrap piece here to do the greeting with. It's about 2 1/2 by 3. Any scrap big enough to cut out the third from the smallest framelit is all that you're going to need. Then I'm also going to be using the birthday delivery stamp set. I'm going to use the birthday greetings stamp. Of course, there's lots of different greetings that you could use on here. There's the happy birthday there, which is a little bit large for this gift tag, but there's lots of images here that you could use and a lot of different greetings that you could use as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to use my snail, and I'm going to cover the back of one of these pieces of paper with snail, and then I'm going to take the other one and put these together. And it doesn't matter if they fit together perfectly. We're going to end up cutting these out. So I'm going to slide this over to the side. I'm going to go ahead and build this portion of my tag just by adding some snail to the back of that, and then sticking this onto the front. Now I wanted my stripes going up and down this way. Let me show you. Up and down this way rather than left to right. I turned the paper in that direction at first, but the trouble with that is once you get your greeting on there, you don't really see all of these colors because your greeting covers it up. So for that reason, I put my stripes going up and down instead of left to right. Now I'm going to take my extra piece of crushed curry. I'm using some basic black archival ink, and I have my greeting on a clear block C. And I'm just going to stamp this greeting just about in the center of my paper. Then I'll grab my Big Shot and we'll get this cut out. Now what we're going to do with this is, you can see, let me grab this up here and show you for just a second. This is the framelit that I'm using, but as you can tell, my gift tag is actually longer than what this framelit is able to cut out. So for that reason, I'm going to show you how to do some partial die cutting. So first of all, I'm going to put my die on top of my paper, and I'm going to put it so that this end is fairly close to the end of my paper. Then when I put my top cutting pad on, I'm going to line the end of it up so that it stops cutting right before it gets to this other scalloped end, and then just run this part through. Then we're going to basically do that same thing again. This time I'm going to turn the edge around that I just cut, and I'm going to lay my framelit on top of that, and where it stopped cutting, I'm going to line up where, well, I don't really know how to describe this in such a way that it's going to truly make sense unless I flip it over this way. So right here is where it stopped cutting. So I'm going to hold this upside down and show you what I'm talking about. Right here is where it starts cutting straight up and down again. So I'm going to line this up, of course flipped over, so that it begins cutting on top of where it stopped cutting, right about in this area, maybe a 1/4 of an inch down from where it starts that scallop. I hope that that is clear to you, and I just feel and make sure that I have those little cutting portions of my framelit lined up with those pre-cut portions from before, and then like we did the first time, line your top cutting pad up so that it stops cutting before it gets to that scalloped edge. Now, as always, I will have a detailed printable PDF that will have a list of all of the supplies that I'm using, as well as detailed instructions on how to make this project, and that'll be over on my blog at wallastamping.com. And also, if you will leave a comment, I will be sending out all 4 of these gift tags to a person who will be drawn as a winner for making a comment over on my blog at wallastamping.com. So what I want to do, as you can tell with this one, I want my greeting going at an angle instead of straight across. If you'd prefer yours to go straight across, that's fine, but I just prefer mine to go at an angle, so I'm going to put my framelit around that so that once it's cut out, my birthday greetings will be at an angle. We can start to build our gift tag now. I'm going to adhere this to my tag just about in the center, and I'm using my snail for it. Then my birthday greetings is going to go on top with dimensionals, but before I attach that, I'm actually going to use some rhinestones on this one. Now what I'm going to do to give this some more color and just make it a little more fun is I'm just using some Sharpie markers. I have a blue, and then I did a couple in green, and then I'm going to do a couple in pink. And I'm just coloring those and giving them just a second to dry, and then I will place them on top of my little greeting. So I like to do these in 3s, so I'm going to take the green, one of the blues, and one of the pinks, and put those in somewhat of a triangular shape up here at the top, and then I'm just going to repeat that down here on the opposite corner. Now on this other one, I actually used some sequins, but I decided that I would give this a try. I like them both, but I think I'm leaning more toward this. I think it makes it even more bright and cheerful to have those brightly colored rhinestones on there. Now attach this on the front of my gift tag. I'm going to use some dimensionals. Then just pop that right in the center there. Now to add my little pom-pom, the first thing that I'm going to do is take my crushed curry baker's twine, and this is the thick baker's twine. I'm using my ruler, and I'm going to wrap this around my ruler between 50 and 60 times. So I will snip that off once I'm done, and then cut an additional length that's probably about 12 inches long. I'm going to slide this off the ruler and just make sure that I keep a good grip on it so that it does not come unwound. Okay, just like that. Then to help me, I'm going to just wrap this around once before I tie it, and this will help me just to keep a better hold on it while I am tying it. If you've ever made a pom-pom before, then this is just elementary to you, I know. I used to do this all the time when I was a little girl, and you know what is so hilarious is over the weekend my middle son Tucker came home from college just to visit, which was a very pleasant surprise. I'm glad that he did. And he decided on Saturday he wanted to go to the mall in Nashville and just hang out a little bit and do some shopping, and we did. And of course, Ella, being a girl, she had to have some new clothes. So we went to this little shop in the mall, and she bought a pair of denim jeans that had embroidery on it. And it was like rainbows and butterflies and different things, and it just cracked me up. But because when I was a girl, about 13 or 14, what I'm doing right now is just trimming all these loops. When I was a little girl, about 13, 14 years old, that was the style, to wear denim jackets and jeans that had embroidery on it. The only difference is I did my own embroidery, but she got these on sale for like 10 bucks. So, I mean, really, if I could have bought my jeans for $10 back in the day and it already have cute stuff on it, I may not have taken the time to do all that embroidering. I don't know. So I've trimmed all of my loops here. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of start shaping this up a little bit, and this can get messy, I will warn you. If you've never done a pom-pom before, once you start trimming it to give it a nice rounded shape, you will have quite a bit of mess going on. Okay, so I've got my little pom-pom made. I've got a piece of the crushed curry mini chevron ribbon, and I have my 1/8 inch hole punch. So I'm just going to punch a hole in the top of my tag, about right there. I'm going to run that ribbon through there. Then what I do to kind of help myself along with this is I actually take a little mini glue dot, and I'm just going to use my scissors here. I put one right there and then stick my front part of my ribbon onto the back part. That'll hold those together. And then I'm also going to trim off one of these pieces right here, which, whoop, that one just came right out, didn't it? I'm going to stick a little mini glue dot right underneath there where I tied all that together with that knot, and then stick that down on top of my ribbon where I want it to be. Flip that upside down, and I'm going to tie it in a single knot back here. Get that pretty tight, then flip it back over, and I'm going to tie it again, but I'm going to make sure that I'm tying it down kind of underneath there so that when I pull it tight, it'll actually end up in behind my little pom-pom. Just fluff it up again. If you want to leave these hanging, you can. I'm choosing to trim mine off. Then I kind of frayed my ribbon a little bit pulling it through, so I'm going to trim that up again. So there we have our fun little festive gift tags, and then here are the other two, the more masculine one, the metallic one, and then these bubbly, fun, festive ones. So this is really a very quick and easy gift tag to make, and like I was saying, you can change it up from birthday to something else just by changing your greeting. I hope that you enjoyed the partial die cutting that I was demonstrating to you, and that's a way to get more use out of your framelits. By doing some partial die cutting, you can come up with all kinds of other ideas and ways to use them to create different projects. So again, I will have links to all of the featured supplies. They'll be in the description box that's below the video, but make sure that you do go over to my blog at wallastamping.com. I'll have a complete list of supplies over there. I've also prepared the printable instruction sheet for you. It's going to give you all the dimensions and the directions for the project. So there's going to be lots more information over there for you to check out on my blog, as well as more pictures of the projects. So thank you again for stopping by. I really do hope that you enjoyed this project. If you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up, and I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you won't miss any of my future paper crafting tutorials. Remember to leave a comment on my blog to enter to win these gift tags, and I will do that drawing probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then send those out once I get your address. So thanks for stopping by and spending time with me today, and I'll talk to you soon.